been doing really well with going to the gym. I went on the 1st of Jan and the 2nd of Jan. Didn't go on the 3rd. I did go on the 4th, but then again there was a little bit of a trouble because I went to the gym and I forgot my water, and I was like, I just can't be walking uphill for an hour and just not have my water. It's just not gonna work. I was like, let me go out to Sainsbury's to get some water. I did that, and guess what? I couldn't get back inside. So I had to walk home in a t-shirt and I got the sore throat from it. That was not fun at all.
Sore throat from that?
Yeah. Anyway, I picked up my camera to tell you that I'm recently the one that gets the last pomegranate from the shop. There's something about it. Arpine, do you want pomegranate? Oh, he's curious. Yeah, it's so nice. It's the best thing in the world. I'm literally pomegranate obsessed these days. I have pomegranate almost every day. Sometimes I have 2. Just wanted to share that. Okay, so I had a really fun meeting with the management. Again, this is a never-ending story, is it? But you know what? I am feeling the progress in terms of how I look at things. You know, at the beginning it was all like, oh my god, how can you be doing this? How can you not do it differently? You know, I had a lot of high running emotions as to like, what the heck is going on? And 9 months later, I'm at a point where I'm like, whew, okay, so things are the way they are. Nothing's going to change, and I just need to try my best and not make things any worse than they are. I did have a bad meeting with them last year at the end, right before Christmas. We're all trying to figure things out, and the thing is, the more I talk to these people, the more I realize that, you know, you get these people who talk a lot, they talk and talk and talk, and they don't just make one point, they combine 10 points together and they make this ginormous points like avalanche. When they start talking, it just gets more and more and more and more, and you feel swamped. I felt swamped so many times. And the way I approach talking, or I try to focus just one thing. Let's talk about one little thing and just try and get it resolved, whereas the other party would just talk about everything. And I'm like, oh my god, so clearly I need to practice my negotiation skills because I lack, or maybe they do, and then, you know, it's a mess. I knew it from the get-go. I knew that there was not going to be, we're never going to work well together. It was just clear from the start, and I tried to make it work and then it didn't, and they tried to make it work and then it didn't work. It's just not going to work, and I'm trying to just, it's a good learning curve. It's very good practice, definitely. It provoked a lot of thoughts in me on various subjects and my character and what I need to improve. It's not a good experience, definitely not a good experience, but it's a learning experience. I'm at a point where I'm waiting for this internal role to be available, and it was supposed to be available mid-Jan, 2nd or 3rd week of Jan, and we are on a Tuesday of the 2nd week of Jan, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it comes sooner and then that I get it. There's still a chance that I don't get this job in the first place. Not good enough, skills aren't there, or imagine if, I don't know, there could be stuff like that. If it was to happen, I'd be like, okay, I give up, that's it. I'm finally leaving this place. And you know, if you've been following my vlog, I was ready to leave literally the first months that I joined. At first I thought that there would be a good opportunity for me career-wise to grow, because the function I'm a part of right now is just crap. It's not good. And there was a lot of clashes between me and my management. Then I was like, okay, I'm definitely leaving. But then I had booked a meeting with the person from different department just to talk about what they do, and I got swayed basically. I was like, oh my god, I got excited about that. And it's been now 5 months since we talked for the first time, and this job opportunity that they promised to come through in Jan is supposed to come in through at any point now. And from my end, I just need to relax, keep my head chill, and I can't. It's so challenging. It's so stupid talking about it as well. Recently, when I'm editing vlogs, I'm like literally cutting out a lot. Usually I don't cut anything out. I'm like, you know what, whatever, you know, it's true, it's real, it's authentic. But now I'm embarrassed at the amount of, it's just the same fucking thing. It's just the same thing, you know. It's like, oh, I hate my job. There's so many levels to it, and I'm like, oh, I just want it to be over. I want to move on. I feel like I'm stuck in this freaking cube and I'm suffocating, and I really need to get out of it. What are you up to?
We're making the dough, nice and elastic, you're used to make dumplings.
Dumplings?
Dumplings, yeah.
What kind of dumplings?
At the same time, this whole process happening, we're making sushi and miso soup and dumplings all at the same time.
For the first time as well.
Yeah, well, not the miso soup part, but maybe soup.
Here's the whole production process.
This is for sushi.
This is for sushi. I have no
That's
idea.
a mix of kimchi, tofu, and onions. The other one's a mix of prawns, spring onions and stuff. The other...
And it's a tofu.
This
You're
is-
masterfully making dough for
I don't know if it's
dumplings.
masterfully, but I'm doing something with it. So we have to free three different balls of dough around the same size, and we have to roll them. But at the same time, I need you to get something ready for the sushi. So get into gear.
Get those hands into gear to make sushi.
Mix this, and then get the sushi rice ready.
Okay.
Sushi rolling that, and then this is the seaweed. Meanwhile, I'm rolling this. I've never kneaded dough, let alone rolled dough before. So probably a very skillful thing, because look, it's already going completely around the rolling pin roll. It's different for the dough.
I have this seaweed here. I'm gonna be rolling this way. This rice is really tasty. What do you add to it?
No, because then how will you make a separate sushis out of it?
I've just cut my sushi roll and Arpine is ready to test it.
Don't give it to her. Ooh.
Mmm. It does taste like real sushi. Oh, it tastes very good.
Oh wow, tastes amazing. I actually got to swallow it after that.
Wow. Through some trial and error, we figured out how to somewhat do it, but I don't think we still achieved the desired result.
Either too wet or too fried.
I like it.
The kimchi one's good.
I'm not like a fan of it, but I like it. When we were getting our mortgage, we were advised on which solicitors to go with, and we chose the one that they recommended to us. We went ahead with them. They looked okay. I mean, we didn't quite know how to judge them. Quite new to the whole thing. They told us that we would at a later stage be able to change or update our choice of a solicitor, and so we go through the whole process of getting the mortgage approved. It was a little stressful. We realized that we have found much better solicitors where the whole process is very transparent. You don't have to chase anyone, but it's like an app system where you see where you're at in the process, and we really wanted to go for them. And it turns out once you get your mortgage approved, you can't change your solicitors. If you are to update the choice of a solicitor, you would need to go through the whole process of getting the mortgage approved again, and obviously we didn't want to go through that because it was quite dramatic, so we just were like, okay, fair enough, let's just go with the solicitors we chose originally. Oh man, we have regretted this choice so many times. It is insane. Very slow at responding. We are constantly having to chase them for information, literally like drag information out of them. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't leave a lot of room for trust. We got to a point, Aman was saying yesterday, it almost feels like we have to do all of the surveying, check everything that they've said they've done, and we're not solicitors, we don't know what we're doing, but it feels like we have to do a triple check their work just to ensure that everything is done up to code. It's not great. It's ridiculous. The most recent thing is we called them before Christmas, around, you know, on the 20th of December or something like that. We asked them for updates on the searches, and they're like, oh yeah, so we actually have done the searches, but there's a few inquiries that we are doing right now. We're like, oh great, will you be able to share it with us? And she was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll send them over. She doesn't. So we're now in January, the beginning of Jan, chasing her on that through email correspondence, and she's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll get back to you on that. Never freaking does. It is so annoying. Like, how can you not? There's so many things that are wrong with it, in my opinion. I mean, it's not necessarily wrong, it just doesn't feel right. I will definitely not recommend them to anyone else. Gosh, the weather recently has been extremely frustrating. First, it was very cold about a month ago, like real cold. It snowed even a little bit. Then it just got very warm, so it got really muddy, and I had to clean up in every 5 minutes. You know, his fur just gets so dirty all the time. And now it's back to cold, real cold. I just came out of the house a minute minute ago and I'm freezing. I don't think we'll have a long walk today. Gosh, it's taken a mammoth amount of effort to just go gym right now. I am very hungry today. I am just all over the place. I hate the way I look. Everything's just going wrong, so I really need to just walk through this. I am so proud I came out to the gym. I was very hungry and I really didn't feel it. I pushed myself. I tried doing the bike thing at home. I'm not a fan of it. So I did a full hour. So happy. I have no idea what happened just now, but overnight I woke up to Finland, Norway. You know, it's so cold, it's freezing. Everything is frozen. See that water over there? It's frozen. All of my exposed parts of the body, for example my fingers, are frozen. It is extremely, it feels like it's -20. I know it's not, I know it's bad, probably -5 or something, but it's so cold. So we are at a point in Mikael's buying journey where the contract is just about to be signed almost, and we're like, okay, we need to start ordering things. Right, as I've been running around with Arpina, I got a little warmer. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say that it is January 17th already. Already? It's been so fast. It almost feels like Christmas and New Year's was yesterday. And still no updates on anything. Oh yeah, I was talking about the floors. The first grand thing that we will be doing with the house is we'll be updating, rehashing all of the floors on the first and second floor. And it almost feels like there's a lot of coordination that needs to happen because there'll be a team of builders, which I yet to find, and a team of the floor guys. Current floor will need to be ripped apart, thrown away. Then we need to place the heating system and potentially something else that needs to happen for the heating system to be compliant with the floor. I don't know, some protection thing. Afterwards, we would need to get the other team of builders to place the floor, and then there will be a team of tilers who will be tiling the bathrooms and the kitchen. And at the moment, nothing truly makes a lot of sense because we don't know who we're going to be working on anything, and it's a bit confusing. We haven't chosen anyone because we can't, because you need to book the builders team in advance ahead of time, and we still don't know when the contract signing will happen, so we can't book anyone yet. And then we figured out which floor we want. We ordered a few samples and those samples didn't arrive, so that's a problem. It's a problem because they didn't arrive 5 times in a row. They just kept resending them and they keep not being delivered to our place. We are not yet solid on which floor color to go for. The problem which may arise is the floor type that we want may be out of stock, and if that's out of stock, everything else will be slowed down. So there's a lot of considerations like that. Plus, on top of everything, we've done a house surveying, and the surveyor discovered a few of the core issues that need to be addressed with the house. One of them being electricity hasn't been checked in the last 10 years or something, and it's a major breach. So we're trying to get the current house owners to deal with that, as well as some damp problem that they've discovered in one of the bathrooms, which will definitely be costly. So we're trying to reduce the price that we offered on the house to make up for these issues. So we're trying to deal with that, and that will take time. And you know, when we told you that we were hoping to get the keys to the house and everything in December, well, that was really silly of us and very naive. Even though we are thinking that we will get the whole thing going and at least the contract signed beginning of February, I honestly don't think it's going to be the case. I feel like I've been suffering so much with the expectations and hopes that place in terms of timelines with this house and with the job. I literally bring it onto myself to be upset when things don't happen when I expect them to happen. So I need to adjust the timelines. I've been doing it all wrong. I need to hope that we will move into the house by summertime, and I need to hope that I will get this job by summertime as well. So that gives me enough leeway to just relax, let life be. And I don't really understand why Arpin loves to poo in this driveway of this really posh house, but okay, I'm gonna take care of that right now. It's so cold these days. It is absolutely insane. Oh, the second I go out, I'm so cold. Anyway, today I had to go to the office, and when I go to the office, I have to leave the house very early, 6 o'clock in the morning. So no, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to leave at 7:30. Nonetheless, very early, and as you may know, the earlier it is or the later it is, the colder it gets. And the second I get out, I was like, oh my god, it's so cold. It's so cold. And what I see is my neighbor, who just started driving away, stopped her car and she's like, hey, can I give you a lift? And I'm like, yes please. She was my savior. I was so grateful and so happy. It would have been a very cold 20-minute walk to the station, but you know, I got a lift, so it was very nice and warm. But now I come home and I'm realizing that because I had a lift to the station, I'm now around 6,000 steps behind my goal for the day. And I'm like, had I just walked it, I would have reached my steps goal. I would have reached my calorie burning goal. I would have just had it all, you know? That makes me sad. And you'd be like, why don't you just use your cycling thing, your spinning machine that you have? Look, I've tried it and I just hate it. I hate it so much. When you spin, you use a certain, I don't think you use your whole body. I feel like you use certain muscle parts much more, and I was just not it. It does not work with me. Just same thing goes for like the step thing. I can't do those things, and I don't want to do those things. I just want to go on treadmill, and I want to go uphill, and I'm just gonna run sometimes when I feel like it. That's my jam. Had I had a treadmill right now, I could have just, you know, walked it off. I would have put my headphones on, watched a YouTube video or like a movie, anything, listen to a podcast, just walk those 6,000 steps. Instead, I'm just going to be depressed over it a little bit.